All right, everyone, thanks for coming today. My name is Tristan Harwood. I'm a lecturer in CATS at the BCA. As you probably already know, David isn't here, so I'm sort of embodying his spirit as best I can today. And so I'll begin. It's my cultural responsibility to acknowledge the country where we meet today, the unceded territories of the Bunurong of the Kulin Nations. For millennia, the 5 nations within the Kulin Alliance have practiced and continue to practice relations with each other and to care for the land with regard for each other's jurisdiction, governance, and sovereignty. Each of these nations exist in deep reciprocal relations with the land, waterways, skies, the plants, and the animals within their territories. These relations and practices are continued and adapted by elders so that they can be carried into the future in art, in writing, in music, in maintaining country and community. I give my respect to the elders of all times and extend that respect to any mob here today. And it is with this in mind that I am pleased to introduce Robert Fielding. Robert Fielding is an artist of Pakistani, Afghan, Western Arrente, Yankunytjatjara descent who lives in Mimili Community in the remote Anangu Pitjantjatjara Yankunytjatjara APY lands. Fielding combines deep cultural roots with contemporary views on the tensions between community life and global concerns. He confidently moves across different mediums whilst pushing aesthetic and conceptual boundaries in Central Desert art. In addition to his studio practice, Robert works as a curator and writer. As a finalist in the Macquarie Group Foundation First Nations Emerging Curator Award 2017, he participated in an international exchange to Canada, and as a participant in the Australia Council for the Arts Signature Works Innovation Lab, he conducted research in museum archives across Australia, working in installation, painting, and photography. Robert's first international solo exhibition was staged at the Fondation Opale in Switzerland in late 2018. His work continues to be shown in exhibitions across Australia and internationally, most recently in the Tarnanthi tour of KulataTjuta, Many Spears at the Musée de Beaux-Arts de Rennes in France in 2020. In the exhibition Unlearning Australia at Seoul Museum of Art in Korea and at the Bangkok Biennale Chaos. Please make Robert Fielding very welcome.
Hello. Before I start, I would like to acknowledge the country and the lands of where we're standing on today, Bunurong people. Nganapamanda, our community and our country, Oangaran. Thank you for everyone who has welcomed us onto your country today. Thank you to everyone in Willam Center. It is important to keep the conversation between our different nations, languages, and cultures strong. Nganampa, Manda Chokurpa, our country. Before I start, just breathe, relax, because I'm not used to this. This has been a while since I stood up on the stage. Paralpi. This is where our teachers come from and where we are educated, where we are taught the importance of unity, together, and gathering. Children and community coming together, seeing this place is embedded into them. To see the importance of the generations of our people, like my son, Zachariah, who performed for Australia at the Eurovision contest. This is why you must return to your forefathers and the responsibilities of country and teachers. And this is my classroom and our classroom. And for Pirampa and Mono Arnong to work together side by side. Making art within a community and country, working as part of the land and working with the land, remaining on country, maintaining those connections embedded to country, Uankara. Together, we live and work on our country, on our terms, maintaining these connections through our art making and our businesses, Mimili Macquarie and Maku Chukurpa, which is the Maku, the witchy group, and to take our families and community members onto country. Nganampa, ours, Chukurpa, stories. It is about Maku Art Center, our business. Nganampa means our story, our country, our land. Stories of today and yesterday coming together. Uankara means together. Together as one. Hojo. Waru, fire, unison of sounds of Inma, song and dance. Coming together, sitting and listening. Pinala, hulila, listen. It's about Magu songlines, Antara Chukurpa, Paralpi Chukurpa, Maku Chukurpa. Kanyanjaku meaning to holding on to, and holding on to the importance of our stories. Working together is a hard thing, but it's not easy. But it is in one way. It is about holding on to the families and the connections of our stories. Working together like Mamalpa within the audience to learn as a team and to collaborate and to have collectives and putting together images of families together in a canvas, as you can see. Family groups work together. Inyarpa, Nganamiri, Kundale, Pakale, Polere, Ondalpa. Coming together, that is the families of elders, women, men, children, and the ladies, the elder, the Minma Pampa, about coming together. Alpiri. Alpiri is the morning story, talking before the early sunrise. And this is what happens within Paralpi. The importance of the land and the animals. Marlu, Kalea, Nindaka. These are the animals that make up our canvases and tells our stories of the kangaroo, the emus, the rock holes. The unity and working together, respecting the elders of the past, the great unified future. Nganampa again, Nganampa Ngora. Nganampa Ngora, our home, which is Mimili. This is where many dreams are made, many stories are told, many games are played. You may have the highs, you may also have the lows. This is about how you maintain the stories of peace, love, respect, togetherness. Whenever we unfold in the days, in the weeks, in the years of a lifetime, it's about forgiving, kanyanjako, holding on to the importance of your community, our community, nganampa ngora. You can see in the children's, in the hills, the stories of songs, of dance. They waiting to enter to the mountains, the Chokala rock holes, Minkulpa, Karro, Tubaka, creek beds. The holding on to the land maintains the ways of our elders. To remember the stories the ancestors hold in the country, Nganampa Ngura, how important it is and how we hold on to the different terms of art. Alice Springs. Anangu Pitjantjatjara Yankunytjatjara. There is two different meanings of Anangu meaning Aboriginal and Pitjantjatjara Yankunytjatjara, which makes up the APY lands. is held by two languages and two languages alone. But it's about, Uluru, the importance of Punu. But today it's about the canvas. The batik was many years ago. Lots of different mediums of stories throughout the APY. In Dalkana, Mimili, Frigan, Pukaja Amara, Napari Kalka, Mono, Uluru. But me, as an artist, Chokorpa handle it. Chokorpa handle it is done in my tape. It's not about fragile. It's about stories. It's about importance of packaging and telling a story. It's about listening to the elders, like my grandmaster, Kumana Williams. He did the storytelling through the mailbags and how important by listening, holding on to the importance of Chokorpa. Chokorpa, it is a continuation of Mr. Williams's legacy on how to hold and to be told through our eyes and through our ears of listening. Hulila, acknowledging this country, the culture, and the authorities. The authority of understanding the laws, LAWS and LORE, to the land and the law of our country. Experiencing knowledge, standing together, and respecting for generations and generations to come. Manda mil milpa. Manda mil milpa means our land is sacred, and so is yours. Our land is telling you something that we are custodians and carers of this space, this place, this land, this time. And it's about listening. What we have been told by the forefathers, what we have been taught is to maintain the importance of Manda Mil Milpa. Means sacred, stillness, quiet, listening, resolving. It's about respect towards all countrymen. It's about the importance of extended families, the pono, the tree, the abu, the rocks, the karu, the creeks, the manda, the land, and most of all, the formation of our country and your country. And who owns it? As it is about the land owning us. The importance of time, space, place, and that we are part of this, of our duties of Mimili Community, our culture and our responsibilities. We do not own the land owns us. Oh. You're bad. From the Manda to the Uru, from the land to the sea, from the Uru to the Manda. Traveling between desert and oceans, the cities, and coming together and to learn these practices, by creating conversations between two different cultures. Bringing cultures and duties and responsibility is everywhere, but beauty of one's listening and learning is another. It's about here I am at Negative Press. I have been working with Trent Walter for almost 10 years. Our land is sacred. You could either read it forward, you could read it backwards, but our language is made up of 13 and 3, not only 26 and 5. It is important to learn of these trips, to create new ways of making and bringing the back to Mimili. You have big buildings, big studios, many tools. Our studio is basic. Bringing it back to country is being in the landscape. My biggest inspiration is Rosalie Gascoigne. Found objects and bringing text in a new way. Her use of road signs connects with the roads that now crisscross our country. My artworks are signs to lead the next generations to the right directions. Text is important in my practice and can be used in many ways by telling a story. Pearlescence. Pearlescence and ochre. Roots and roots and routine. This work talks about the ancient trade routes that cross this country. The finals first explored this in my 2020 exhibition at Linda New Arts. I was robbed of telling a story, but I have a story to tell now. It's about currently, I work in the Mornington Peninsula works on paper using the same process and telling the story of the importance of pearlescence. Where did it come from? Who owned it? And what is it? It is a cultural object. Irreti, Kwari, Ngula, meaning the past, the present, the future. This is my Baba, my dad. This is now. One is rolling with the roller backwards and forwards to print workshops, but I wanted to create my own prints in Mimili. So I rolled backwards and forwards with a roller, painting my father and my forefathers of the stolen generations. My own DNA of telling a story, my story, our story, his story. But most of all, telling a story. Two different types of printmaking coming together. Pirampa, Mono, Arnong. Black fella and white fella. Way of printmaking. Looking at a print, looking forward is about kinship. Telling my father's story, how you hold on to, but how you can let go. Words of assimilation, words of sacred, belief broken. Telling a story through the eyes of your father, not to live through the fabrication of lies, but to tell the story of one story of forgiveness, love for all, hatred for none. These are very strong, very personal words. It's about cameleers. It's about Danjeba, Udnadara, stolen generations. How the Manda, the earth, can be telling a story of unity, of return, but I returned. That I have a kinship, that I have pulyo, milpa, smoke, and sacred stories of Anangu Pitjantjatjara and Uangara extended families. Through continuation of one that did have to go backwards to move forward, I have now. But look deep within these images. These are telling you the stories of salvation of the Aboriginals, the Aborigines, Arnongu, stolen, lost. These are documents I found in the archives, and these are designs of inserting of stories into these about Oankara, Waikapete, our family's history. Loud cries forever is to be united, but which is about untold stories, but about joy, about loss, about faith, about cries. It's about me reconciling for who I am as forgiveness. I am not broken, I am full. I am not scared, I am. Traumatic, I'm moving on. It's about multiplication. It's about life. It's about respect. It's about Uwankara, everybody. It's about Malpa, friend. It's about Pulyu, Milpa, in our law. From the earth we come, to the earth we return. It's about generations. It's about generations of Chukurpa stories now. It's about continuation because Ngayakopulere, my granddaughter, will hold on to the importance of Chokurpa, as I have 8 grandsons and 1 granddaughter. What happens to the past to my father, I cannot carry the stories forever, but I have to tell the stories because this is what was, but this is about now. Importance of repetition. The importance of repetition is about belief. It's about repetition. It is also about cobalt blue. The life, the living, the water, the waterways, the kapi, chokala. It's about don't ever give up, but believe and believe. Policy. Policy is about the stolen generations. It was all about the time of the government language. That was the past, that is the future. Pixels and Punu, Apu, Chanpi, hills, all come together as one. Pixels of a silk screen. The stories of what is happening today, talking about the policies of land, space, and time, the rocks, the grass, and the hills of Paralpi. Importance of kapi, water, photography, silk screening, and screen printing. This place will never die. It is a vibrant place. It is alive with water and resources. Whenever the rains and whatever opens within the heavens, many people return to visit. The land is crying for the unison of our people to come together as one. Whenever there is anger or hatred, no one takes it to the place. It's a place of now, eternal respect, and reminiscing. For Erati, Kwari, Ngula. Where are we up to now? Yeah. Kojaba. Don't forgive me. Bringing those processes together. There's 3 mediums within this work. Screen printing over ashes, over ochre. Was a difficult time, but it was a good time. It is about screen printed with natural pigments. Can you do it? These were the questions, but you can. The challenges, the process of screen printing, the different times and practices overlaid. Alta, meaning charcoal, I beautify my body with. Ono, ashes, I also beautify my body with. Toto, ochre, which is also the beauty of Manda Milpa, Chukurpa. The pigments of the earth, experimenting with spear and paintbrush, the Kulara. How important the Kulara is, the spear. Looking behind the veils is by looking in this painting and this canvas. The beauty lies within. Because it is covered with knowledge, using images of my photograph practices to inform these layers, these paintings of secrecy. Every painting within is Manda Milpa, Chokurba, story, song, dance. All connected through the land, the earth, and waterways. Painting on country and letting them connect with the land, Manda, Chokurba, Kape. This reflects to the origins of these stories and the shapes of the Punu and the Manda, the trees and the land. Wow, 76 and 75. Past, present, future, graveyards in between. Rust doors, models, times and years, salvaging, breathing life into these old stories of ownership, who they belong to. and holding on to the stories of Wati-Chota, Minma-Chota, Okara, Kiki, my elders of families, and the origins and the original photographs of these relicts, these cars. Kanyanjaku holding on to the tree of knowledge. Salvaging the flower buckets. Hold, held, cooking utensils, holding, concealing, cultural objects, vessels and instruments. This is what I'm holding, a flower bucket. But with this, it was about pressing the memories of these objects into and to tell a story through a whole story of different stories, of meanings and different meanings. The rust used in this important stories, printing with the land and the remnants of directing, placing objects, placing them in the certain directions, cutting out in sections, reads as one. Collecting, salvaging words, sounds, moments, and color. Rust. This was quite interesting. My own DNA. Past and present and future, carved within a board, printed on a board, embossed board. How one can have the highs and lows, the opposites that always sits together, needing each other to form a complete circle, a picture. Ngapachi, ngapachi, 50-50. Black and white, uangara, 50-50. Positive and negative, 50-50. Holding on to the kulata, once again the spear, how important the spear is. The kulata was made from wood, but I wanted to take it to the next level. These are the bronze cast works of kulata, the spear. Gold, precious. Red, blood. White, pirampa, the works with us. Black, Anangu, and the foundation of us all. How the spear can hold and maintain and the hold together, the unity of together. Uangara. Poisons and rations and dark histories within these images. It's telling a story about Anangu. And now at the crossroads and with the open ears and the minds, we can take control of the story. Kulilaya. But kulila, listen. Teaching our elders the Land Rights Acts in 1981. Many doors open and many doors close. These are my car doors. At the Canberra Glasswork Artist in Residency that I was given this opportunity. I had no knowledge and understanding of liquid, the molten and the glass. Embedded ochres, as you can see, that I pushed my boundaries by adding ochre within these glass windows. Telling the stories that you can embed red ochre within the glass. And the motifs of Mimili Community. One blood, one DNA, and to listen to our history of the APY, that this was and this is Chukurpa. Car doors that belong to the prestigious men and women who once traveled within these cars. I brought them alive with motifs and glass and a new face, a new story, and Kulilaya. Wow, the numbered tanks. The remembrance of cattle stations on the APY lands. Jackaroo, Jillaroo, Jingaroo. This is questioning and using the words of Yankunytjatjara about stolen wages, stolen land, stolen children, child trafficking. These panels are from tanks that would have been numbered 1 to 52 to make a circle, to hold on to the most important resources, which is water, but also to hold on to the stories of traveling and country, space, place, and time. I use these to tell the stories of Chokorpa, Mandamil, Milpa. This is land. This is uncommon for those that are in stations. That was once. But this is about a common for those who are understanding. These buckets are found going forwards and backwards and backwards and forwards and telling the story of Yankunytjatjara Chokorpa, Wapa. And Pinjara, we call Chokorpa. Chokorpa, Wapa, meaning one. And that the rust that you can see in the bottom of these works has been sandblasted in many ways of telling a story in the colors and the process. Sandblasting with the manda from Mimili. We don't have manda, we use the manda of the earth to create the beauty of my work. The natural pigments we have collected are processed and sat within. 44-gallon drums came from around our community, as well as the flower buckets. Using all found materials, it was all about maintaining, salvaging the rust. Wow. Next generation. Malaja. Malaja. For the next generations, for those. Malaja, Malaja, Mala, baby brother. Passing this on to the next generation of men. Wati Chokorpa. The men's story, the secrecy of men, by telling their stories in one, and standing to be proud of the future and using their work to tell their stories. Side by side, I have worked with two very special friends. Side by side, we need one another. Side by side, we work together to teach one another. Color. Side by side, we give the audience to see the creativity that takes hold of Mimili Community. That I have traveled, and it is important, and we created everything everywhere. For those that to appreciate, to discuss, is to like. I don't care whether you dislike, but we like. But art is about side by side. Thank you to all those people that have been part of my journey. All those that have been vessels and capillaries and muscles. For all my elders back home. All the women that make up the Arts Center, how important that songs, those stories, those dance. And that one can walk and dance in unison. And to all the men and to all the women. But most of all, to all the men that have been part of my team. Part of our revolution. I suppose, whom we are creating a new movement of sharing not only my voice, but their voices in due time. It's about importance of walking together after the events of last year. This is the importance of a team that maintains and uses our art center. The importance of Robert, Kay, Harriet, Tapi, Richard, Mark, Anna, Angus, and Uankara, everybody within and on the outside of our art industry. 1930. Reclaimed my father's culture. You cannot take this away from us. I am not an addition. I am not a subtraction. I am a multiplication. I have many. This is what it's all about. It's about power of our elders. My dad, cousin, brother, but I have two offsprings from him. We carry the maintain and then restore these power through knowledge. Chokorpa, milpa. But the Grand Master of now, the pono maker, the importance of the wood, and the master of knowledge, the master of creativity, the master of making. This is the master who holds his knowledge deep within and shares without boasting. Chokorba, handle it. Manda mil milpa. This is who I am through my colleagues that have given me the opportunity to speak, to learn, and to gather an audience of I once was, but I have a beacon of light now from those that have given me this opportunity to express my art through Chokorba, handle it. Kala, kala, salam alaikum.
Please.